At over 4,500 meters, a silent plateau hides some of the finest wool on Earth. These Changthangi goats carry a hidden layer of warmth beneath their rugged outer hair.
Beneath the coarse hairs lies a soft undercoat, grown to survive winters that touch -40 degrees.
In these brutal winters, that invisible fleece is the difference between life and death. When the plateau finally warms, the goats begin to shed the very fibre the world calls Pashmina. If they simply cut the hair, the precious undercoat would tangle with the rough outer fibres and lose its purity. Instead, a simple comb becomes the key to unlocking the world's finest cashmere fibre. Each animal is calmed by familiar hands before the slow, careful combing begins. Strand by strand, a feather-light fleece is teased away, leaving the coarse guard hairs untouched. Over hours, these weightless tufts begin to add up to a family's livelihood.
Summer evenings here are filled with songs, as comb after comb.
This work is learned young and carried into old age, a craft passed down silently through practice.
At this altitude, even simple movements demand strength, yet every stroke matters. From each animal, only a few hundred grams of usable fiber emerge, often just 300 to 500 grams. Added together, this fragile harvest becomes the main cash income for many Changpa families. Every kilogram is carefully recorded, because it will soon be exchanged for much-needed cash. When combing season ends, families travel to remote buying centers to sell their year's effort. Most prefer to sell to the government, which also supports them in caring for their herds. Each sack is opened, checked, and judged before a final weight and price are agreed.
55.2 kilograms.
At roughly 4,000 rupees a kilogram, every extra gram makes a real difference. This modest payment sustains families, feeds animals, and buys what the high plateau cannot provide. Beyond Pashmina, sheep, yaks, and even meat sales complete a fragile but vital economy. Yet even as the camp glows with tradition, the pull of distant city lights grows stronger.
The children study far from the plateau, their horizons stretching beyond the old herding life.
Many parents dream their children will return, yet they know the work is hard and the comforts few.
Urban life offers light, connectivity, and choice that the windswept plains cannot match. As the young stay away, the responsibility falls heavier on those already worn by the climate. In the harshest months, fewer hands mean each storm feels heavier than the last. With too few family members left, many now consider hiring outside labor to keep the herds alive. To fill the gap, strangers from distant valleys are brought in to share the work. Generations of skill must now be taught quickly to those who did not grow up with the herd. With practice, even new hands begin to free the precious undercoat from the guard hair.
Thanks.
But every extra pair of hands eats into the narrow profit the wool once provided.
The medicine is 15, the candles are 10.
The prices are rising too fast. I will only take the fodder and the soap today.
Around the fire, they wonder how long this way of life can survive such slow, silent changes.
Some returned for short visits, caught between childhood memories and new city ambitions.
New jobs, new comforts, and new freedoms tug against the pull of ancestral land.
This land demands everything. My joints ache constantly.
The work demands dawn to dark labor in thin air, with little rest and no guarantee.
Each day is a woven strand of small tasks that together keep the herds and families alive.
Across Changthang, families debate how to adapt without losing themselves.
New methods promise fewer losses, giving the delicate undercoat a better chance to grow.
By understanding quality and markets, herders gain more control over the value of their wool.
From the high plateau, the wool travels to valleys, where it begins its transformation into shawl.
Here, expert hands judge what the mountains have given: color, fineness, and the promise of softness.
Here, skilled eyes and hands begin by rejecting dirt, vegetable matter, and the roughest hairs.
Before any machine can touch it, the fiber is patiently cleaned of straw, burrs, and coarse hair. The fleece is bathed softly, the dust of Changthang lifting away without damaging its delicate strands. Laid out to dry in gentle air, the fiber recovers its loft, ready for the most crucial separation.
Far from the high plateau, machines transform these fragile strands into luxury fabrics.
Through careful dehairing, the coarse outer fibers are removed, leaving only the cloud-soft heart of Pashmina.
What remains is so light and fine that a shawl woven from it can pass through a ring.
Carding combs the fiber into smooth, continuous strips, preparing it for the twist of spinning. Skilled fingers feed the carded fiber to the wheel, spinning it into threads as fine as breath. Spun and stored, these threads become the building blocks of a shawl that began on frozen plains. On warping frames, hundreds of these fragile threads are measured, aligned, and given direction. Each strand is passed through the loom by hand, a patient preparation before the first line is woven.
With each pass of the shuttle, the once loose fiber locks into a fabric of extraordinary warmth and lightness.
Line by line, the cloth grows, light on the skin, yet strong enough to last for generations. Hours and days condense into a rhythm of hands and wood until the shawl finally reaches its full span. With a final cut and knot, the cloth leaves the loom and enters the world as a raw Pashmina shawl. Every square inch is checked because even a tiny flaw can break the illusion of seamless luxury. Soft comments about small corrections needed.
Invisible repairs ensure the shawl feels perfect, even under the closest gaze.
A final wash relaxes the fibers, giving the shawl its unmistakable softness and fall. Careful drying prevents distortion, preserving the shawl's shape and delicate structure.
Light brushing raises a subtle nap, giving Pashmina its signature touch against the skin.
Even the fringes are shaped by hand, turning loose threads into a refined border.
Some remate in natural tones, others take on colors, but every layer of dye is handled with care. On some shawls, extra artistry is added by hand, turning warmth into wearable art. Before it leaves the workshop, each shawl is certified, protecting both the craft and the people behind it.
Packed with care, the shawl leaves the workshop, carrying the story of plateau, herd, and hand.
Far from the wind and stone, the fibre now waits beneath soft lights for a new owner.
In a single touch, they feel the work of goats, herders, and weavers hidden in every thread.
What began on a remote Himalayan plateau now guards someone else against a very different winter.